Hi Gaurav,
Hi, Ipshita, how are you?
fine. A very warm welcome to my winter season as I call it, of the Fireside Chat series. I've been telling that I always wanted both the demand side and the supply side to be here. So while at one end I'm interviewing CIOs, and I'm going to soon, I've been asking about security, data privacy, quality. At the same side, you are there at the opposite end who probably will talk about quality, the how it has changed face, how does it look. I'm very excited about today's show. Before I start and jump into it, I would love the opportunity to introduce you. And apart from formally introduce you, I would, you remember, Gaurav rather, is my among the first few clients. if,
Absolutely.
if you remember, walking into a small office where we were working.
Yep, I do.
Or through and through. I've seen you grow. So introducing Gaurav to all of you. Gaurav is a sales and marketing professional and a keen technology enthusiast. I have personally seen his career graph. Let me tell you, he has a killer combination both academically and in the career. He's a mechanical engineer from the NIT, followed by an MBA from IIM, and that's a killer. Combination when you are an engineer and you think like a marketing person, and that brings you back to digital transformation. Let me tell you, right? In terms of his career, I think he's moved from the application development side from the first company that he worked with, Excellent, to Position 2. By the way, I must, I must commend his marketing skills and his branding and his go-to-market to his experience in FCB ULKA, although it was a brief one, but I think it must have played. I'll ask him how he did it. Followed by his bigger, and I think he completes 8 years now in QualityKiosk. And he's moved roles from strategy to new business to digital transfer. So Gaurav, here, can I ask you something? A marketing person, how does he do? I know they do great at sales, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. How does a marketing person become a great salesperson? And then how does he become a great digital transformation consultant? Tell me that.
Fair enough. So a marketing person gets into sales by happen chance. Typically, the career progression is the other way around. You do sales first and then get into marketing. But at Excellent Technologies, I used to play the role of a marketing person. I built their marketing team from scratch, and that's what I did at QualityKiosk as well. There was a gap. There was no structured sales and hunting at that point in time at QualityKiosk. And with the blessings of my boss, mentor, and CEO, Manish Jawar, who kind of guided me into the realm of B2B sales, because I had always been at war with my sales teams. And to step into the shoes of sales was something that I had not imagined myself doing. Mm-hmm. But he talked me into it and he walked the path with me, and I found success there. And it has been a very interesting journey. One common thing that a sales and a marketing person are really good at is to meet people and kind of help them, guide them, understand what their pains are, and communicate well on the value proposition. Whether it's marketing that's providing air cover or the sales that's going in and closing the deal. So right from the entire value chain, which is lead generation, identifying the suspect, the TAM, the addressable market, going into the prospecting phase, nurturing them, converting them, and of course the post-sales. Marketing and sales plays a role which I should say is not tangential to each other. If they play, instead of opposite sides of the same coin, if they play the role hand in glove, I have appreciated that bit because I've been on both sides of the table. True. Right? You have that classic disconnect. I gave 5 leads from a marketer to a salesperson. A salesperson said, look, those 5 leads actually wasted my time. So you go back to lead qualification. Right. So being on both sides of the table has made me appreciate what the other team thinks, what are the challenges they face. And in the current role that I play, which is new market development and strategy. So it's basically building a go-to-market strategy that encompasses marketing, sales, and obviously the first deliveries and the successes that we bring to our clients in new geographies. So it's helped me appreciate the entire value chain that we create for our clients. Come to think of it, before I did the marketing bit, I've actually done coding, and I was a subject matter expert in US healthcare.
Yes, that was position
Yes.
2. That was position 2.
No, position 2 was a full service digital agency where I sold to marketeers.
Yes,
Oh,
that
so
was
I sold-
position
yes.
2. That was position 2.
No, position 2 was a full service digital agency where I sold to marketeers.
Okay.
So I have sold to marketeers, I have consumed from agencies and vendors, and I do the sales bit as well.
Super.
Yes.
That makes you think from all the hats, wearing all the hats.
Yes, because
So since when you talk to a marketer, my intention was to talk to you about the transition and the transformation of quality engineering, but I can't not help ask you a few more questions on marketing.
Sure.
Tell me something, let's do a rapid fire. Okay, maybe that will quickly, then we'll move to quality engineering, Tell me, marketing or sales, which is more structured?
Neither.
Okay, which is more process driven?
Both should be. If you have a CRM in place, both should be.
Right.
Both are not.
Okay, then in your role in sales and marketing, what do you think sales miss the most? What did sales, miss the most while doing this?
Value proposition.
Okay, wonderful. And marketing, of course, they get biased with their leads. Or tell me otherwise from your mouth, which is the gap in marketing?
Understanding the business, understanding the nuances of the business.
Elaborate a bit. Here I'll go from rapid fire to elaboration. Yeah.
Okay. So marketing needs to understand the nuances of the business the way sales understands.
So that they
can craft the communication the way the prospect or the suspect associates themselves and their problems with that collateral or that communication that they are reading or consuming.
Very true. Collaterals are going to play, but then that's the role of the pre-sales. That the puzzle, the gap has to be covered by a tech guy.
No. So let's say you're doing an event. Let's say you're doing an event. The messaging in the event is not pre-sales. It is definitely could be a brochure, could be what have you. Right. Could be a webinar. Something that marketing runs in terms of air cover. Yeah. Right. If it is not bang on the money. Yeah. Especially in today's markets, which are completely oversold. You have 50,000 people selling 50,000 similar things. Yeah. So how do you kind of differentiate yourself from the clutter? And that is where the value proposition comes into play. Marketing has to understand what makes the value proposition tick from a technical and a business perspective. Not just one perspective. And I'll specify why not just one perspective, because in the B2B landscape, you're not selling to a person. You're selling to a panel. It is a group of people, influencers, champions, challengers. It's kind of a group of people that need to be sold to your service, your product, or your solution, what have you. Right across the value chain, starting from the first marketing touch point to the deal closure, which the sales will take care of. The value proposition has to be reinforced multiple times. Unless marketing and sales and pre-sales and anybody else that you're using are not on the same page. And it's classically, this is a sales term which is used, peeling the onion. Layers. First of all, it has to be a layer approach. You see something, you like it. Go back to India FMCG. जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. So you liked an onion. which is a commodity, complete commodity, whether you want it at 5 rupees a kg or 35 rupees a kg. That will depend whether it is the local roadside hawker or you are at a premium store, whichever it is. That said, I walked into the place where I want to buy the onion. I look at the onion, I like it. Then the first layer is peeled, the second layer is peeled, and after each layer, I become more and more enticed. And that is how the value chain should work. The first communication, the next one, the first phone call, the first meeting, the second, third meeting where the pre-sales is introduced, the solutioning is done, the proof of value or proof of concept. So everything keeps adding to that grand idea that actually got you this, right? And that is where there is a huge miss. Now, what happens when this miss happens is you might not lose the deal, but you might lose the position. You don't want a deal where your margins are very low. Correct? Because then it is, again,
it's like
the word is commoditized. Then you have effectively commoditized your brand and what you stand for. I'll give you an example. At QualityKiosk, we are premium players. So we charge more than most of the players in the market, but the value that we deliver is at least a 5x more. This is simply because in 23 years of experience, we started with manual and automation testing, moved to quality assurance, moved to quality engineering, and now we have moved into the realm of quality intelligence. One thing that has never changed is our ability to deliver more value than the cost to the client. So the total cost of ownership has been going down continuously and consistently for our clients. Second, one thing that has always changed is the goalpost. We keep our goalposts from a short-term, mid-term, and a long-term perspective, and we know it's going to move.
Right.
Because the world we are in is very dynamic. Whatever our clients wanted 3 years ago, they don't want the same things today.
True.
Quality is not something our clients ask for. Quality is not something we deliver. 10 years ago, we would have talked about quality. We don't even mention it now. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth. That's hygiene. 100% quality is sacrosanct. That is a given. The game is in predictability. How do we deliver 100% quality and make entire application ecosystems reliable? And not just from a quality perspective, a reliability perspective, which is kind of an overarching umbrella on quality.
Right.
Let me give you an example. Let's say there's a vintage car. It's a beautiful vintage car. Maybe an old Land Rover.
Yeah. That would be it.
And it's there. It's there. It's there in a museum. It's available. But it cannot take you from point A to point B. Correct?
True.
One of the things that keeps CIOs awake and CTOs awake is the entire reliability engineering aspect. I have an IT application which is available, but it is not reliable. 24/7 it is up and running. I have no problems. But when a user actually uses it, instead of a 30-second journey, it's taking them 7-8 minutes. And by the time it's 7-8 minutes, the transaction is anyway lost.
Right.
Your customer is lost for life. So as the needle moves, sales, marketing, and the organization as a whole has to strategize on how to best deliver value. And that is where the value proposition becomes the fulcrum for everything. Sales has to drive the value proposition. Marketing has to understand it and craft effective communication around it.
Very true. So the answer to it is change the marketing to sales for some days and move the sales to marketing for some time. Like, the entire training goes complete from the ground.
I'll tell you what. That is also not the solution, because the skill set required in marketing and in sales is quite different.
So when they sit together, I think they'll be empathetic when they figure out what happens to the customer.
Not just sit together. Not just sit together. What is one thing that ties both of them together?
The outcome, the end result, probably.
Absolutely. So KPIs and KRAs should be aligned. That's one. Second, their understanding of the value proposition should be on the same page.
Very true.
If I want to sell onions to make a biryani versus put them in a salad, it is the same onion, correct?
Yes. So,
but the onions which are fried and put on a biryani, there's, I think, a gentleman who actually created a business out of it. Yeah. So that's the value problem. How do I take something which is commoditized? How do I help my pre-sales and my practice teams elevate it? So I am genuinely not just showcasing something which talks about perceived value, but I have the ability to make my clients realize that value. So if you break this marketing thing of what you show versus what you get, the classic bait and switch, and go a little beyond that. If you minimize the gap between perceived value and realized value, then marketing and sales will be on the same page. I have spoken and I've met some of my peers who do brilliant marketing, but then and this is again B2B companies, and then again at the proof of value, they lose out on a couple of deals. And marketing always points the fingers at
you lost
you know how it is. Yeah. You know how it is. You lost it. Sales didn't do a good job, or your proof of concepts and values were not up to the mark. But if you do an introspection, you sold something that you never had. You have painted a picture which you couldn't deliver. So the gap between value realized by the customer and value perceived by the marketing team and shown right at the start of the journey has to be completely, there should be no difference between both. Yeah.
Gives you can picture.
Yes, and it's a very, very fine line that seasoned marketers should kind of adapt. Yeah.
That's a great point, and from here we'll now move into quality engineering. I think you mentioned a very strong point there already, that what I was going to ask you, how is the face of quality changed? And I think you mentioned that in a way, that it started with quality testing to quality assurance to today's face is quality intelligence, like you mentioned, right? So since you said that, I'll ask you, you have managed so many multiple regions. I knew at a time, India, APAC, probably now you're handling the USA. Middle East you must have. So tell me something, is there a regional pattern in which companies have an engagement, the consumer companies, the companies who take services from companies like yours, how does the adoption change country to country in terms of the deployment strategy, in terms of the engagement model, and most importantly the attitude? That's one thing I would like to know. Yeah,
that's a lot of questions rolled into one. So let me break it down.
Yeah.
From a region perspective, There are mature markets, there are markets which are catching up, and then there are markets which overall might not be matured, but in things like payments, India is one of the global leaders.
Right.
The way we have UPI, the way we have our payments ecosystem, which is completely seeped down to the grassroots. You go to the local panwala and he would have a QR code ready for you to scan. So, it is not just the region, it is also the industry vertically. So if you take this 2x2 matrix and then start mapping countries, you will find some patterns of adoption.
Okay.
Within the countries also, you will find a bell curve. You will have the early adopters, you will have the mainstream, you will have the laggards.
Yeah.
Classically in APAC, there are countries like Singapore which are mature markets. Their adoption for new tech is very high. Their understanding and respect for quality engineering is also quite high. You would see other markets where quality is taken for granted till the point that digital transformation is either done by choice or thrust upon them, and they realize that if quality is a metric that they don't measure and continuously improve, their entire digital transformation strategy is going to go down the drain.
Yes.
Simply because the digital transformation you're doing for the digital consumer. The digital consumer is not going to differentiate between you, a Google, an Amazon, or a Netflix in terms of availability, in terms of reliability, in terms of quality, or in terms of the experience that he's getting as an end user. He's going to be merciless. He's going to uninstall you. And the real estate on this 6.5 inch smartphones that people have is very valuable. Share of wallet. There is zero share of wallet if your application is not even on my mobile screen.
Yes.
You're not even in the room. Forget sitting at the table with the customer, you're not even in the room. So keeping that in mind, across the board, across all of these geographies that you've mentioned, there are customers who understand and respect that quality engineering is not just about application quality or customer experience. It is about product quality. An application is a single application. Customer experience is the end user's experience. The product experience is omni-channel. It is omnipotent in the sense it is across all the applications you have and across all the third-party integrations you've done in your ecosystem over which you have zero control.
Yes, in a way, yeah.
Not in a way. You have an SLA with a vendor who's going to supply you some information. He breaches the SLA. He will pay you money. Fine.
But then
money is of no use if you've lost half your customer base. Money is of no use if your reviews on the Play stores have gone down by 2 stars. Money is of no use if people have taken screenshots of the experience they had and blasted you on social media. You are dead as a brand.
Yes.
SLA violated by a third party and your brand is killed.
I mean, I didn't imagine the scale. I used to be in data center business. And when that shows, and imagine you're running a mini data center even over here. I mean, it's not even mini, it's micro because it's B2B, B2C. I don't know where it just trickles down.
See, what has happened is it is an ecosystem play.
Yes.
There is no one bank. There is no one insurer. There is no one retailer.
Right.
There is no one travel aggregator. You go to a travel aggregator, he will have an API integrated from an insurer and he's giving you an insurance on your flight. He's giving you an insurance on your bags if they get stolen or lost or damaged, what have you. So it's an ecosystem play. right? Some of the largest private banks in the countries have very strong insurance plays as well. Most of insurance products are serviced via the bank. Now, since it's an ecosystem play, if one of the components of the ecosystem goes down, and that is where the entire reliability engineering aspect, site reliability engineering or reliability engineering as a science comes into play. What are you going to do at 12:30, just after you've had an early lunch, when your systems are misbehaving? Do you have an SOP? Have you tested your application ecosystem from a reliability engineering point of view? Most companies have not. Chaos engineering is one of the things that we do extensively. And that is what brings out these gaps and builds SOPs on how to tackle these problems in real time when they actually happen. And trust me, they happen to everybody. So the question is, how do I make my application ecosystem anti-fragile? And to do that, it is not about if it happens. When it happens, do I have a playbook in place to tackle it?
I was recently in this, event where CISOs, all the CISOs are coming. And yes, so the most important point which came out, it's not about the solution often, not always. It's not about just one component, but they were talking about simulation. Be ready. Nobody's 100% there. So is chaos, we were doing a research, where we checked which aspect of testing works where. Somehow chaos engineering, it did strike to me that US was a market where they understand chaos marketing more. Again, I know you said that it's not about a region, maybe the segment we were working on. But coming to that, is chaos more about, yes, creating chaos like English, I would think. But the point is it more about simulations, being ready for the day when everything goes wrong and keep testing it with permutations?
Okay, so chaos engineering is an art and a science. The science is a simulation. The art is what to simulate.
Art is what to simulate. Art is what to simulate to reduce costs, or the permutations are too many?
Permutations are obviously too many. You see, again, let's put the cost aspect aside. Let's say you are a large bank, you have all the money in the world. What you don't have is time.
When that vulnerability strikes you and where?
Yes. When will the system break and why? Maybe you'll figure out the why. If you have a good observability engineering stack, you'll figure out sooner rather than later. In our industry, we call it MTTI, mean time to identify, mean time to repair. You'll figure out what broke and why.
Yeah.
But after it breaks, do you have a SOP on how to mitigate the risk, how to bring your systems back up, and how to start doing your business in such a manner that your end customer doesn't find it? It broke, you know it broke. Does your end customer know it broke? No. That is the singular, most prominent and significant outcome of a well-engineered, reliable system.
Got it.
I'll give an example. Netflix has what you're watching, then it would have top 10 movies, shows, then it would have genres, say comedy, drama, things like that. All of those are API calls. One of those lines are missing or they are rearranged. We don't know. Yeah, we don't know in the back end if something is broken or not. Right. Because for us as an end user, Netflix is seamless. So they have taken chaos engineering, organizations like Netflix, to the next level. They have actually written the book on chaos to a certain extent from a practitioner's point of view.
Wonderful.
So that is what we do. That is what we do for our clients. We engineer chaos across their ecosystem, across all layers. It could be application, it could be infra, network, the whole 9 yards. and it's active and passive. So it could be scenarios they are faced or they're likely to face. And we don't do it just in production. We do it in pre-production as well. So our entire philosophy is shift left. How do I take reliability as close to the developer as possible?
So when
Because
you
if I can
when you talk about pre-production versus after you've done that, what is the impact in the terms of the efficiency as well as the costs? Do you see a difference? Is there a number you can put across?
Absolutely. There are a lot. See, it's not a singular thing that we do. It's not just chaos that we do in a shift left manner. There are a lot of things that we do in the realm of quality engineering in a shift left.
Okay.
So if there is a test center of excellence that QualityKiosk is running, in terms of quantifiable and benefits and a total cost of ownership, it would easily be anywhere between 30 to 40% less than anybody else.
Okay.
Because our approach is completely automation first, platform centric, and the benefits that we bring to the table in terms of reliability engineering as a construct, not as a single point solution, but as a thought construct which starts at the requirement, goes till the go live, and then goes into production as observability engineering. It gives us a right to create a feedback mechanism from production to pre-production in terms of product strategy, dev strategy, and testing strategy.
Got it.
Unique insights that help our clients to even shift their product roadmap. And it saves them a lot of money. And I think more importantly, it saves them a lot of time. Because money my clients have, time is something they don't.
True. Despite you saying, and you maybe have a use case and you're claiming it, but definitely there is a case study to support it. Still, I think very recently, even in India, we've heard about some cases that they've gone into a major, break. And then after that, even after a month or two, they're unable to go back to the normal operation. So it's so evident there are problems happening. Despite that, how difficult is it for you to convince when you sit in front of a new customer and a new customer? Forget difficult, tell me what is it they're thinking and why are they not then shifting to left when they should?
One of the largest showstoppers for our customers is the methodology in which they work. Right? Traditionally, IT experts have been taught and it's been grilled into them that it's all about availability. If your systems are available, you can punch out, you're good. Reliability engineering is taking the entire equation from a single variant equation into a multivariant ecosystem.
Yes.
The variables have expanded, right?
True.
So definitely there will be pockets of resistance. People fear the unknown. On the quality side of things, when we talk to a customer and tell him that, look, you have a team of 100. I can reduce it to around 16 year one. And you should not be testing manually. There'll be 0 manual testers when you work with QualityKiosk. There are customers who come back and say that, Gaurav, 3 months ago, we did not believe you. Now, once we're seeing it on the ground, we understand what the value that you bring to us. So there are different lines of thought and different schools of thought. Some people don't have the budget right now. Some people don't see the value immediately. Some people
are resistant to
just
change.
don't want to change.
The usual.
I once had a customer that had a large team, and he liked having a large team. He did not want the headcount to reduce. He was happy testing manually. once they moved into a digital transformation journey, they had to automate.
Yeah.
And he came back to us and he told me that, Gaurav, whatever you had said earlier, maybe 6-8 months ago, all of it is now making sense to me.
True.
Overnight. So again, this is where marketing and sales plays a huge role.
Right.
Please don't sell. Please don't market. Marketing, showcase value.
Yes.
Sales, help them realize value. So, digital transformation consultant or a quality and a reliability engineering consultant, it's not about selling. Nobody wants to be sold to.
Oh.
If you talk to people, if you walk the path with the people, they will be customers for life. It's as simple as that.
And they'll see the point eventually. And 6-8 months wasn't a large time, I think, for somebody to realize.
Yeah, absolutely. And
walk with them. You should never leave.
Walk with them. And see, like I said, I believe in the work QualityKiosk is doing, and that's why it's very, very easy to showcase value.
No, it's a relevant field. I think there is no questions. You're in the right place right now. When you started, probably I didn't know, testing. I met you so many years back. I was not sure. I hadn't heard enough to go into services like you guys were. But now, if you hear anywhere, that's one single thing, which makes so much sense, and you're doing a fabulous job. But tell me, how does QualityKiosk, among the couple of other customers, competition that you have, right? Are you all on the same page in terms of how quality testing and the approach? You mentioned so many things from to quality intelligence. Are you guys approaching? Are there common jargons across companies, or it's something you guys have really come out with, realized, and able to make customers realize the value?
So, there are a lot of analyst firms, I think, who take the copyrights and the patents on all the jargons that come into the IT industry.
Yeah.
But in terms of
weaving in together, I know most words would exist, but the way you are doing.
In terms of how those jargons translate into a roadmap for a customer, and the strong subject matter expertise that comes out of my Chief Operating Officer's office, that actually takes the jargon and converts it into a practical practitioner's approach, note and methodology, is where we shine.
That's why I've heard lesser of you guys, companies, and I think you guys are recognized for being able to do it. I think you guys also won a recent award for a QE specialist service, which shows that you're into services and not just that, right?
Yes, and Everest also now recognizes us as a global force.
So your consultants are your strength, your people are your strength, the experts, SMEs are your strength.
Not just SMEs. Because what we tell our clients is, don't keep a people-centric approach. What if my SMEs are not available for a very critical client rollout? Would the client, which could be a large enterprise, would they tell their board member that my rollout is going to stop because a couple of people were not available? So when we tell our clients that it should be process-centric, we have internalized that as well. Right. So our SMEs are top-notch. They would have relevant technical or business or quality engineering, or with whatever expertise whatever expertise they are carrying, they would have that expertise. But then we have tried to create solutions and products around it.
Yeah.
We have a platform-centric approach that brings all of the tool, tech, the approach and methodology, and the brain power of the SMEs together, so that the practitioners on the ground, which could be the full stack quality engineers, and if you ask me what they are, full stack quality engineers are people who can test manual plus automated, plus they have a domain understanding, plus they can do performance and security. It's all in one box.
Got it.
The one person who does it end to end. So these people on the ground, if I expect them to do so much, I need to enable them with processes and tools that make them efficient and make the entire outcome easier to arrive at.
Yes.
Because it's quality. The game is not doing one product experience right once. It's doing multiple product experiences.
Quality is all about that.
Continuously, consistently, at the behest of the client. It could be a project, it could be business as usual, change requests, major minor enhancements, and on the ground, it is quite chaotic. There could be one executive director sitting somewhere, sending a one-liner email, which changes half the application.
Tell me about everything.
And he wants those 1300 APIs to be live in 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks? But I approved a budget to move you from monolithic to API microservices. Now you show me that your APIs are agile and you guys are agile and flexible. I want this change done. That is where the entire people process platform comes together to deliver that outcome. One doesn't work without the other.
At this point, I understand. I've seen about your TCOE, I've seen about your processes. Tell me something, although it may not be 100% answered in which department or which genre of testing, but is there a hero product? Is there a hero product? Is there a great product? I know you also leverage on products, right? You have your products, I understand, but can you on a larger front tell me, because this interview is also going to be referred by the CIOs, CISOs, other companies. So tell me some hero product companies who have really done well in terms of building a product which you guys as services could leverage, and they're an exceptional job.
Sure. So again, my 2 cents here is there are a lot of hero products. There are a lot of products for different parts of the entire quality engineering life cycle.
Right.
Is there one product that does it all? No.
Yes, true. It doesn't. Yeah.
Now, there are really, really good products, but instead of naming products and tools, would your CIOs and CTOs not be interested in what is the metric or the outcome they want to drive as a strategy from a test center of excellence point of view in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years?
Of course.
Now, I'll give you a marketing example. And this is from a previous organization. Our positioning was that we work with small clients, well-funded, and we help them accelerate their entire business. So if your business model is digital, we are the right partner for you. Small agencies for small clients, large agencies for large clients, and we would take you from point A to point B. So if I have a customer who's doing a $50,000 per month spend with me, I would take him to $1 million plus in 12 to 14 months. Now, in this case, from a MarTech point of view, what changes? In the first few months, you are just spending those $50,000 on pay-per-click, Google AdWords. Then as you move to $500,000, your strategy changes. You start doing media buys, you start writing better content, there's a content strategy. As you move to $1 million and $1 million plus per month, it becomes a 360-degree marketing strategy. Yeah. And that initial pay-per-click just becomes a line item in your entire strategy.
True.
Initial pay-per-click would be on branded non-affiliated words. Then you start adding more categories as your spends increase. So the entire strategy becomes granularized.
Yes.
The tools to support that strategy would change, right? Tools like, say, a Marketo or a Eloqua would be an overkill at the start
Very
what
true.
would be the norm if you're doing a massive campaign and you have
Gaurav,
a
I'll be fair to our listeners. Like you gave a marketing example, give me the same example in tech QE. So as they
in
move from
QA?
small to
Absolutely.
large, what
So
do they
let's say that in quality engineering, somebody's just started out 10 years ago. They would be on a Selenium APM, which is open source.
Right.
It worked beautifully then, and QualityKiosk has done some significant work on open source, and we still do.
Yeah.
We still do it. But what changed in the last 10 years was the development methodology.
Yeah.
From waterfall, it is basically a 1 week, 2 week, or a 3 week agile sprint.
True.
The typical agile sprint is 2 weeks. In this 2 week agile sprint, I cannot afford to waste time with one automation person writing code in Selenium and APM. I need that as a scriptless automation. I need it automated. So there are partners we work with that have beautiful end-to-end platforms which are scriptless. I will not name them.
No problem.
Please book a consulting session with me. I will walk you through the advantage of automated testing end-to-end, and it's not just these tools. You wanted a quality engineering example, and I'll tell you the value that QK adds. It's not just taking a tool and automating the script. It could be scriptless automation, but that's not where the value lies. The value lies in test data automation, reporting automation, test environment automation, requirement analysis, and requirement automation as well. So if you put everything together, there is no one tool that solves it all. The best tools in the world also don't have the right domain libraries. That's the value we add. That's where our consultants come into play. So my request to all the people I meet and consult, hell with the tools. The tools will come. The right fit tools will come to you. We will do assessments, and we will go by the philosophy that the tool has to serve an outcome. But that said, let's talk about the outcomes. What do you want to achieve with the tool? Once you have that right, the choice of the tool will follow.
How should, that's very well said, and that's where people miss, But tell me something, outcomes, how much, what do they need? Are they able to tangibly mention it out? Are they able to map it out? And how would you guide them? How would you guide them to, put
They don't need to. They don't need to. Outcomes. See, when you run a test center of excellence, there is a version 1, a version 2, a version 3, and a version 4.
Okay.
Similar to CMMI levels, right, of maturity.
Yeah.
There is a test center of excellence levels of maturity that we've crafted. We typically do an assessment.
Okay.
If you are at a level of maturity which is 1, and your metric is, do I have AI based automation in place, which is a TCOE version 4, then there's a huge mismatch.
Okay.
So the metric and the outcome will depend on where you are and what you want. So I'll go back to the previous statement I made. Your outcomes for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years will change based on where you are today.
Got it. So you'll say, come in, and then if you want to grow with us in terms of your outcomes, that's where you start. And you start somewhere, wherever you are starting.
No, I'll also tell you where we start. 0 critical or showstopper defects in production, we will write on the statement of work and give it to you.
Okay.
That's bare minimum. That's bare minimum. Like I said,
is there
100%.
Is there
100% quality is sacrosanct, right?
100%. You
For 100% quality, 0 critical and showstopper defects is our promise.
Is the first thing. So is there a minimum scale at which, you talked about setting up the TCO to start from level 1, 2, 3, and then just, keep going, increase your, like you said, move your yardstick. You change for yourself, you're changing for your clients. But tell me, is there a certain threshold value at which every company and CIO should think, okay, yes, I want to meet somebody like QualityKiosk, and I have to entirely look at setting up an entire, thinking process around it, an entire framework around this? Is there a certain number at threshold level where they should start thinking?
See, we work with product companies, which are startups, but they are de novo, completely digitally native. So they have engaged us when they were very small. And even we had that conversation to understand if we are playing with enterprise customers, what value do we bring to these startups? So we had models and we had iterations, and we figured out that these startups don't want what the enterprise needs. What they want is quick and dirty, because they're okay to have 90% quality in production, whereas established enterprise would aim for 99.9. Which is a conscious decision. I want 90% quality. At the cost of quality, I need velocity. I want to release more features into the market faster. And once I hit my product market fit, then I will look at bringing that 90% quality to 99.5. So how does QualityKiosk help these startups accelerate their entire product lifecycle journey and then take them from that 90 to 99.5 is something that we do for them. So again, everybody needs different things at different stages, and that is where we help them accordingly.
So only you look at your signs of, trouble when you individually, every company could look at, this is my customer.
So like I said, we discussed that point, right? Why the resistance to a structured art and science of quality?
People think they're full stack. You now named the word full stack, right? They feel their people are full stack again, even developers. So it hits.
Howard has a very, very nice research on core competencies. If you are doing something and you're doing it well, that's your core competency. Anything else that you do, it's going to distract you from your business. You're not going to save time, money. You're not going to do anything productive if you are not focusing on your core competency. Most of the clients we work with understand this. The ones who don't realize that they cannot scale in terms of skill, in terms of tools. See, because if you scale on processes, best practices, tools, and everything, you've built yourself a quality engineering company. And not everybody wants to do that. And it does not make sense. The simplest example could be very good, robust, scriptless automation platforms, which we bring to the table right off the bat. For anybody who wants to develop them, well, that's it. They'll have to develop them. And is that the business they are in? Maybe not. So, how do you want to utilize your time and energy is something that we talk to some of our customers. And think of us as your agency that will bring 4,000 odd people strong muscle power to your testing capabilities, and you can flex that muscle the way you want. Whether it's 550, 500, it really doesn't matter for us.
Since you're at it, tell me something. What should a number be? Every development cost, what percentage should be the quality cost? Considering that,
quality cost, everything. The metric, the accepted and the metric that we've seen in the last 23 years is anywhere from 35% to around 50-60%.
Yeah. The cost of development versus the cost of test.
Absolutely. 3:1. 3:1 is a thumb rule. 3 developers, 1 tester. And in terms of actual costs, we have seen 30-35% to around 55%, between 50 and 60%. But those are projects that can
processes, tools, everything, not just
everything,
but everything,
end to end.
Wonderful. So I think you've summarized, but if I still have to leave this, you have mentioned that you should come and you should consult, first figure out where you want to be and not think about tools and processes. Still a last line in which we'll end this wonderful conversation for the CIOs and the CISOs. Yes.
There is a cost of not taking a decision if you're not moving from manual to automated, from quality assurance to quality engineering, and then going into the realm of AI-driven quality engineering, and then looking at the broader reliability aspects of your entire application ecosystem. There is a huge cost of not taking that decision that you need to measure. We can actually help you measure. So it will not cost you a penny. Come talk to us. If nothing else, we'll learn something from each other. Exactly what we are doing now.
Wonderful. So when this episode goes live, I think I'll pick up some links from you which you would like to share, maybe how to calculate, or maybe how to meet to calculate, or what do they need to get on your meeting to get you calculate immediately as soon as they enter a meeting.
Fair enough.
Yes, Gaurav, thank you so much for your time. As a marketer, as a QE evangelist, I think we've done a fair job on this and looking ahead to much more.
Thank you very much. Wonderful talking to you.
Thank you, Gaurav.